Hey, how y'all doing today? And I have the pleasure of interviewing a friend, a colleague, a woman I have known for, I guess we've known each other over 10 years almost, right?
Yeah.
Wow, over
well
10
over
years.
10.
Yeah, over 10 years. I'm actually doing this interview in Dakar, Senegal, and I told you I was going to have these snippets of my trip here to Senegal. So I have the pleasure of introducing to you our hostess. This is the woman who is hosting us for this trip, and she's fantastic. She is the director of the Senegalese American Bilingual School out here in Senegal, in Dakar, and it's SABS for short. And we're just going to kind of go over how she came out here, because she's actually from Baltimore, Maryland.
He's giving me power, all power, all power.
Introduce to you Madam Stephanie Kane. Hi, Steph.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, we just call her Steph. We just call her Steph.
Yeah.
So, Steph, let's start from the beginning. You know, just tell us a little bit about what you did when you grew up in B-More, and then all your travels and stuff like that.
Sure. So I'm actually was actually born in Hempstead, New York.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So my father was in the Air Force.
Right.
And so he did his stint in Hempstead, and then we moved to Baltimore. And my father, I think, was posted somewhere else. And so I grew up until the age of 12 in Baltimore.
Okay.
When my father was posted in Frankfurt, Germany.
Okay.
My mother and I joined him, and so I actually went to middle school and high school in Frankfurt, Germany.
And wow.
Yes.
That's great. Okay.
Yes.
You speak German?
I do speak German.
Okay.
I do. I do speak German. So, yeah, and it was while living in Europe that I encountered what we call the diaspora.
Okay.
So Africans, people that look like me in France, in Holland, and I remember asking my mother about it, and she explained to me about colonialism, and I was very, very curious. There were people of color from the Caribbean who had been colonized by the French, and there were people from African countries. So when I went to Morgan, I went to Morgan State University after high school.
Now, where's Morgan located?
Morgan is located in Baltimore.
So you actually left Baltimore, went to Germany, and actually came back to go to school in Baltimore.
That's right. So we connected with my roots.
It's nice.
And I started out as a philosophy major, took some courses in French, and eventually ended up studying international studies, and my concentration was Africa.
Nice, nice.
So,
now, you also did some extracurricular stuff, but you told me you actually went to school with Marvin Webster.
Yes, I did. I went to school with the Human Eraser. I actually cheered the Human Eraser on to the NCAA Division II basketball victory. I was a cheerleader at Morgan.
Nice.
Yeah, for I think for about 3 years, and I also danced on Morgan's dance troupe. And
Nice.
so yeah,
You had a good time
had
in
some
college.
movement in my life,
Yes.
and I definitely supported the Morgan Bears, basketball, football, you name it. I was there as a cheerleader.
Okay, so you finished college. Now, what's your thinking? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
So Germany was home.
Yes.
My mother and father actually, my father retired from the military in Germany.
Okay.
And my mother taught school there. So Germany was where I went during my Christmas vacation, summer vacation. So the idea was to go back home.
Okay.
And so that is actually when, so I worked for a year, earned up enough money to visit the continent. Because remember now, I studied, my area of concentration was Africa. So it was one of the first trips that I took by myself.
Okay.
And I landed in Mali, went to Sierra Leone, and then came to Senegal to meet one of my best friends who had gone to Morgan with, who was in the Peace Corps here.
Okay.
And actually fell in love with Senegal, cried at the airport when I had to go back to Germany.
Wow. Okay.
And little did I know that I would meet my husband, who was from here.
Okay.
And so eventually we married. I had my first child in Germany.
Okay.
And I came here to Africa to join him because he came before me by boat, 8 days, by freight boat.
Oh, wow.
From Belgium.
That's a great story. Okay, so education. What sparked you to say, you know what, I'd love to build a school, and
Right.
how did that happen?
I have to admit that was not the vision.
Okay.
The vision was really, twofold. One, I had been teaching English at the university, Shahada Job.
Okay.
I taught English there for 5 years, and I also taught adults English at the American Cultural Center here.
Okay.
And I was curious as to, the difficulties it was for older people to learn, a language, new second languages, and began studying early language acquisition.
Okay.
So it coincided with when my daughter was 4 years old and needed a preschool to go to. We had just moved back from Kenya and Tanzania, and she just wasn't having it. I think she was probably insecure from the move, and I said, let me experiment with preschool, early language acquisition,
Right.
Language acquisition, and started a school, nine preschoolers,
Okay.
4 to 5 year olds,
Right.
and every year we moved up a year until we became a full-fledged preschool, primary school, middle, high school, 1,200 students.
Wow.
On 3 campuses, and we do both the American high school diploma program as well as the Senegalese baccalaureate, which is their equivalent to the high school diploma.
Wow. So you started with 9 preschoolers, and now you have over 1,200 students. And for you don't know, that's where I went to the graduation this year. I've been hearing about this graduation for over 10 years, and it was a beautiful, beautiful graduation. I didn't go to the preschoolers graduation, which not the preschoolers, what do you call them?
The primary school.
The primary school. I didn't go to that one. I missed that one, but the high schoolers. And let me tell you folks something. High schoolers graduate the same way around the country. They were screaming and yelling, and their parents were screaming and yelling. It's the same thing that you see back home in America. It's the same thing that you see here. So how did you come up with the name? Senegalese American Bilingual School. How did you come up with that name?
Okay, so we started out as La Petite École Bilingue Sénégalo-Américaine, which means the little bilingual school.
Okay.
Because remember now, we were only 9 preschoolers.
Right.
And the vision was not to even do a primary school. It was to do just a small preschool.
Right.
And as the school grew, because the parents insisted that they were not taking their child to another school,
Right.
it became, I remember I was invited to an embassy function, and I said, but my name is not here, Petite École Bilingue, and they said, because you're no longer petite.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're no longer small.
You're no longer small, right? You are the Senegalese American Bilingual School. And I was like, you know what? I guess you're right. At that time, we had about 1,000 students. I said, I guess you're right. And so the name then transformed into the Senegalese American Bilingual School,
So
because we could no longer call ourselves La Petite.
It seemed like you just kind of bumped your way to
I did.
where you are. Started with 9, 1,200.
I
You're
did.
no longer petite. Now you are the school. That's fantastic. So for those who may be interested, because I've seen a lot of students from all over the country, all over the world really, are coming here. Their parents are bringing their kids here. They're moving here. For those who may be interested in your school, where can they get information?
Well, you can get information on our website.
Okay.
So I think if you type in the Senegalese American Bilingual School,
Okay.
or bilingual schools in Dakar, Senegal,
Okay.
our school will definitely pop up,
Okay.
and you will see us. But so how did the school grow? I think definitely have to mention the role that Bronx Community College has played.
Okay.
We've had 3 Bronx Community College presidents give our commencement speech.
Okay.
Because it's been, the relationship I think has been over 20 years with Mr. Eugene Adams, Director of Collaborative Programs, who I think convinced the first president on her way to South Africa
Right.
to stop with her team. And I think they really liked what they saw.
Okay.
And so from that year on, whenever I brought my teachers to the U.S. to educational conference that they would go to, we would BCC would host us,
Right.
and we would do some kind of training
Right.
with the BCC staff,
Right.
through Gene Adams. So, and he is the one who got us really interested in in science,
Mhm.
STEM.
STEM programs,
STEM,
right?
yeah. STEM, which has now become STEAM.
Mhm.
And I remember we actually visited the science fair in Rochester, New York, one of those cities that I think you bring your STEP program
Right,
to.
right.
And we were introduced to robotics, you know, we were taken away. And so we eventually started a robotics team at the school.
Right.
That's, you know, they've competed in Mexico, they've competed in Ghana, in Dubai. But it's through the training classes that Dr. Eugene Adams
Yeah.
organized for us at Bronx Community College that really opened my eyes to the different possibilities and also how science could be fun, you know. And our school definitely, most of the students want to study science.
Yes, yes.
And they have to decide on whether they want to do a literature track in high school or a science track. And they mostly all want to do science track.
Yeah.
And Gene has been very supportive of our science program and has, you know, really helped our teachers kind of look at different ways to teach science to make it interesting for the students.
Well, there you have it, folks. And for those who don't know, you can go on my website. You'll see I interviewed Eugene some years ago, but still very popular. There you have it. Madam Stephanie Khan, I want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Go check it out. I'll put the information about her school down in the description. You'll be able to contact her, be able to contact her school, and get a great education. These students did a fantastic job. Stephanie, thank you very much.
Thank you, Cliff.
All right.
Glad to see you on this side. Yeah.
Cut!